This video is about overkill and my daily war. Well, this picture shows Nicole, O.J. Simpson's wife, dead body and her face battered and Rihanna's face battered. They thought I would be silenced at overkill. That's me and my baby, my first child. It seems that the whites permit the African Americans to do a certain amount of killing and abuse. The whites seem to do the job terminations, permissions, false arrests, and assess your value. While I noticed that the blacks have the Obama free phone, prey conquest, nigger gang, stalking, bullying. That's what's going on right now. Friday, January 26, 2024, this African American security guard called the Boca Raton police. The police lady said I could stay. I had paid for my coffee at McDonald's, as I did for 2 years when I started working across the street. This African American security pushed me over the edge of abuse, so I made this video because I had been going to the McDonald's for 2 years and I had been working across the street. That was my second job, of course. This is the security guard that did it. I told him my truths while we waited for the police. Also, Friday, January 26, 2024, the African American staff at Dollar Tree in Boca Raton stole $15 off my gift card. The gift card was given to me by a wealthy person. So we have this phenomenon called the Obama free phone, prey conquest, nigger gang stalking, bully, which they talk about me and discuss me like a witch hunt. I'm so close to being like O.J. Simpson's wife, and I'm pretty much beat up like Rihanna, but mostly I had a bad experience and it's been really horrible. August 8th was really bad. At my job, I took my bachelor's degree off my resume and they called me in 2 days. I wanted to work 7 in the morning to 12 o'clock at Dunkin' Donuts in Jupiter and then work 1 to 6 on the computer because I went to work when I was 16. I had a summer job in Government of Jamaica when I was 16. I had 4 days, 4 people, 4 attacks, 4 African Americans in 4 days. Obviously, they're calling around. So I had to give it that name. So I'm at my job all the way north, the most north parts of Palm Beach County, and I went for some peace. I even took my bachelor's degree off my resume. So the African American young male on my job said, "You are dirty." Then I went across the street to the 7-Eleven. I had also applied there, and the African American female said, "You are very dirty." And then the sheriff, an African American sheriff, came in and said, "You're very small." And then the African American housing representative from Delray was all the way up there. That's 4 for 4. And then they terminated me. It's really horrible because it's a menial job. I was a supervisor at Gloria Jean's Coffees in the mall before I got my bachelor's degree. Anyway, so it feels like a witch hunt. And they are bragging like it's sports. But since so many things have happened to me and I see a pattern of the eroding of the values in the United States, I have to do something. You have gangs of African American state troopers and sheriffs. The African American sheriff came up to the Dunkin' Donuts all the way in Jupiter to call me small after they bullied me out of government. Now, I thought it was me against Mike's husband. Mike's husband did not go to divorce court, and he had an African-American state trooper bring a technology vehicle and go in my first property and my second property, and I sent pictures of the damage of the second property to the FBI. Here's a picture of the African-American state trooper. They're like gangs, you know. They have, I guess it's like a witch hunt about me. But what happened is they can't see the facts because my ex-husband didn't go to college, but he's tricky. He did not go to divorce court. My son was tested gifted at Hagen Ranch Elementary School when he was 6 years old, and there was a house near that school. There was a bus going to that school, and we were not allowed to go to before a judge to get this thing straight. I guess my ex-husband was trying to take all the money. Well, I have talked to everybody. I talked to the head of the anthropology department at Florida Atlantic University because I've been reading how Draper states that hunter-gatherers rely on informal methods of social control such as gossip, shunning, ridicule, and ostracism. But I see that where things are happening, it is actually more painful than Hal Draper said. Now, here's my nephew who is gifted. He's on LinkedIn. He's a PhD in neurosurgery. Here's my son is gifted. He crashes and dies. Because the value system's eroded, they have no respect for women, so the crimes against women and children continue. A judge would have certainly allowed my son to stay in his school and in his house. But they did not allow it. My ex-husband subjugated us. He did not go to college. He met me at Miami-Dade Community College. I said to myself, when starting with anthropology, there are also cultural differences and different values, personal values and core values. But in anthropology, the Africans used to capture other slaves and other African tribes to take them to the slave ship. They were very scared. You can see they were very scared. And some of them even starved and died before they got to the slave ship. So the value system, it hasn't really changed because they attack me constantly. I've been robbed so much in Delray Beach. I was bullied out of government. I was in government since I was 16. This is a whole list of core values and personal values. They disrespect women, they call them hoes, and then they have gangs of police helping in the abuses. And then you wonder how O.J. Simpson was in charge and nobody was charged when Nicole was killed. They disregard women now, and it has evolved into crimes against women and children. The courts in the United States are useless. Donald Trump sued the United States. He paid $750,000. Then they proceed to toy with him. They rearrest him. They take him back to court. The courts are useless in the USA. To me, it looks like a betrayal top down from presidents' wives, children, and the nation. This is Bill Clinton. I did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky's famous words to the media, embarrassing his wife, his family, and the nation. Here is Donald Trump with Stormy Daniels, embarrassing his new wife, his new son, and the nation. This is Hunter Biden nude with a whore, and this is embarrassing the nation again. What is this problem here? They're supposed to be doing the accounting for the country. Instead, they're all doing this. Well, the betrayal embarrasses the president's wives, their children, and the nation. But there's other kinds of betrayal. They are betraying women and children. This is my family. This is my son in Jamaica safe. My mother was married to a Cuban fighter. My father was better looking than my mother. He was a mechanic in the Royal Air Force and he was a cute guy. He already had 3 girls. He married my mom and had 3 girls. My mom worked in government her whole life. This is my grandmother, my son's great-grandmother. My mother bought a house in front of the school. I used to walk across the school. There was a fence between my street and the school. They betrayed us. We are gleaners. That little boy did everything he needed to do. By the time he was 6 years old, he tested gifted at elementary school. This is my nephew who is gifted in Jamaica with my son who was gifted. They're both in Jamaica safe. This one is now a PhD in neurosurgery. This one is dead. But people don't know the whole scenario, so I have to communicate the scenario. This is my family. We were betrayed. In Jamaica, my family are gleaners, and every year we had a Christmas dinner with family and close friends. And it kept our bonds and our synergy very strong. We had restaurant, bar, bakery, and many working in government. The Americans really betrayed us. Here's my nephew. This is how gleaners behave. He went back to his high school when he got his PhD. He went to Oxford and Harvard, Massachusetts General Hospital and did his internship. And he came back to his high school and thanked his teachers and the students. This is how we value education because the Queen put Cambridge University in our high schools. It betrayed my family because we did not know that America had this kind of betrayal, and I would have left my son in Jamaica to go to school. I went to this expensive high school in Jamaica and studied French because I was going to university in Canada. But the Jehovah's Witnesses came to my house when I was 10 years old, my parents' house, and started their betrayal, which is about building $23 billion in land and buildings all over the world with no labor costs. This is my expensive high school. It's an Anglican high school for girls only. This is the building they sold to Kushner's when Trump was president. If they had sold it to Switzerland, you would understand. Kushner went to prison for not paying his taxes, and Trump is only about big money. So they align themselves with Trump and Kushner.